Straight up is our topic of the week. The data center market in Indonesia has been growing rapidly amid the growth in digitalization in the MSME sector and the increase in the number of technology companies in the Southeast Asia's largest economy.
The rapid digital transformation has become the main driver of the data center market in Indonesia, as the adoption of the digital technologies such as cloud computing, big data, and artificial intelligence has pushed demand for data center services to store and process data. As one of the countries with the internet penetration rate of 77% of the total population, or about 213 million users at the start of 2023, the demand for data service is also quite high. The government support to develop the data center ecosystem is also expected to further drive the data center industry in the future. The Indonesia data center market is fairly consolidated, with the top 5 companies occupying 67.92%. Based on Modo Intelligence report, the major players in the market are BDX Data Center Pte Ltd, Princeton Digital Group, PT DCI Indonesia Tbk, PT Sigma Tata Sadaya, and Space DCPTE Limited. However, the increasing number of internet users in Indonesia has resulted in a rapid increase in information security threats, such as cybersecurity attacks. It is not only experienced by private companies, but also in government-owned data centers. Such a high growth must be supported by the development of a reliable data center ecosystem that has human resources and technology capable of responding to the challenges of rapid technological changes. No less important is the use of technology that is able to prevent data theft through cyber attacks. Cybersecurity is not considered to be Indonesia's weakest point. The National Cyber and Encryption Agency, or BSSN, official Nur Ahmadi Salmawan said the agency recorded 361 million traffic anomalies or cyber attacks in Indonesia from January the 1st to October 26, 2023. According to the data obtained from the National Security Operations Center, or NSOC, the majority of traffic anomalies are malware activity of 42.79%, followed by Trojan activity at 35.40% and information leakage at 9.35%. The most recent attack occurred at the office of the Immigration Director General. As reported by the Jakarta Post on July 26, 2023, personal data of more than 34 million Indonesian passport holders has reportedly been breached by pseudonymous hacker Bjorka. Among the leaked data are full names, passport numbers, expiry dates, dates of birth, and gender of 34.9 million Indonesian passport holders. Most recently, hacker group Lockbit ransomware claimed in May to have breached 1.5 terabytes of private data managed by state-owned Syariah bank, Bank Syariah Indonesia. The Communication and Information Ministry recorded at least 94 reported breaches of databases in the past 4 years. 2/3 of the incidents allegedly occurred in the databases managed by private electronic service providers, while the rest happened in the databases of public providers. On 20th September 2022, Indonesia's House of Representatives officially passed along awaited personal data to safeguard data privacy. Every stage of the data's lifespan is regulated: collection, processing, sharing, storage, transfer, and disposal. Indonesia's data protection law applies to any Indonesian individual, private or public corporation, or government agency that deals with personal information. It also applies to business operating outside of Indonesia, whose operations have legal ramifications within the country. In other words, both domestic and international businesses that do business with Indonesian consumers must comply with. In summary, regardless of the country they operate, all companies handling the data of Indonesian residents are subject to the law. The data center must also, for example, be built with a high level of security, both the physical building and the configuration of the software they operate, so that the data it stores is safe from cyber attacks.
Now, the rapid digital transformation has become the main driver of the growing data center market in Indonesia, which has expanded significantly in recent years and has even become among the largest in Southeast Asia. Here, our guest this afternoon, Hendra Suryakusuma, Chairman of Indonesia Data Center Providers Association, or IDPRO. Pak Hendra will talk about opportunity and challenges in the data center businesses. Welcome to Economic Outlook, Pak Hendra. Thank you for being here too.
Thank you.
Indonesians are one of the fastest adopters of digitalizations, especially in the past few years. Pak Hendra, can you please describe to us what kind of business is data center business and who are your main customers?
Yeah, I think to set a context, it will be beneficial for me to start from the definition of data center. So basically, data center is a building that which is equipped by scalable, reliable, and also secure mechanical, electrical, and cooling system to ensure that all the IT infrastructure that hosted in that building is can run without any downtime risk. Most of the clients that we're actually now handling is all the companies that providing digital application, digital platform to the customers, and specifically for the highly regulated industry, like finance, oil and gas. That's also one of the largest group of segment of customers for data center business.
Can you please explain to us how does the data center business actually works?
Okay, at the very basic level, most of the industry players actually providing co-location services. It means that we only provide space, racks, and interconnectivity. At the next level, we also provide IT as a service solution. And in the more complex or comprehensive way, we can also provide software as a service solution to the customers.
Now, can you explain to us how big is the market for data center business opportunity at the moment? And perhaps for the next 5 years, how far is this business going to grow?
A very interesting question. So I think it's good for us to also look at the history of IDPRO. We started this organization back in 2016 with only 6 members, and we are running only 32 megawatts of power capacity. That was in June 2016. And now this organization already grew up to, we have 14 members now, and we're running around 210 megawatts of power capacity just within that period of time. And it is predicted by a lot of research company, whether it's CBRE, Data Center Dynamics, and also Colliers, predicted that in 2030, we are going to increase up to 2.3 gigawatts of power capacity.
Wow.
That's a huge number. And bear in mind that we don't even actually implement 5G in Indonesia. The government is planning to roll it out only in 2025.
Right.
So as you can see, the data explosion that will be happening because a lot of data being generated, transferred, processed, and also stored will be incrementally happening in 2025 onwards. Yeah.
In your opinion, how fast is the digitalization happening right now in Indonesia? How fast is the growth?
It's very fast. If you look at the, actually, this is a very interesting question. I think the general public doesn't realize that when they click a button in, whether it's in mobile application or in a desktop application, something happened in the background. So the servers actually are processing a lot of commands, and it all happened in the IT infrastructures, which is hosted in data center. So if we look from that standpoint, then we can see that data center is actually the backbone of digital economy or the digital ecosystem. And if you look at the numbers from APG, showing the internet penetration in Indonesia, it's already reached 77%.
So 77%.
Yes, we have 200 million of people in Indonesia already have access to internet. And we are actually barely starting the 5G implementation. So as you can imagine that in 2025, this number will grow so significantly. And we have the largest unicorn in the region.
That's right.
Which is a company that valued more than $1 billion. And I think we have like 3 decacorns, yeah, valued more than $10 billion in this country, which is amazing.
Okay.
So we are living in a very exciting era for us DC players, yeah, in Indonesia.
Exactly. We're just starting out.
We're just starting out, yeah.
Okay, now with such significant opportunities, you mentioned about companies that just now. I'm wondering, like, the data center industry should attract many foreign investors as well as local investors, obviously. How many companies are currently involved in this business at the moment?
Okay, specifically for IDPRO, we have 14 members, as I just mentioned. But in total, in Indonesia, we have like, I think more than 58 companies running data center, whether it's a tier 1 or tier 3 data centers. So just like in hotel, we have 1 star, 5 stars. In data center, we have tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the higher the number, the more reliable the data center is. So most of the members of IDPRO, we already have tier 3 certification. Some of them already have tier 4 certification as well.
Okay, and can you tell us what are the benefits for joining IDPRO as well?
Okay, so one of the vision of IDPRO is actually to make sure that the association will always support the digital economy in Indonesia by providing the best data center infrastructure in Indonesia. And one of the key benefit of the becoming the member is we can actually become the advocate for the government if we were to have a specific regulation that we would like to have to support the industry. Then the association is the vehicle to do that.
Now, Pak Hendra, the government has been pushing for onshore data center development through various regulations. What are the benefits of building a data center system, ecosystem locally?
Historically speaking, we have this onshoring data center regulation back in 2012, actually. It's called PP82, but somewhat it was relaxed by, the revision is called PP71, which was issued back in 2019. So essentially, there are 3 key benefits if we were to have a data center in Indonesia. One, of course, from the regulation framework point of view, if we were to have the data center host in Indonesia, that means that it is easier for us to do the legal investigation by our law enforcement. That's number 1. Number 2, of course, the latency issue will be way much lower because the data is stored close to the users. And number 3 is actually very important, the trickle-down effect. Bear in mind that to build 1 megawatts of data center of a tier 3 certification, we need to invest like $11 million per 1 megawatt. So that's only from the investment point of view. Yeah. If we were to invest like $10 million, that means we have to invest $110 million, and we have also to hire engineers and also providing the best solution for the startup tech companies, which the trickle-down effect will be very interesting, actually.
Right. Now, you mentioned just now that, of course, we are in the era of digitalization and it's growing very rapidly, but at the same time, we're also facing so many challenges, let's say, regarding the human resources, investment, and of course, cyber attacks that's been happening all the time. Now, how do the data center providers cope with these challenges?
Yeah, interesting question. So, as you rightly mentioned, pool of talents is actually one of the biggest challenge for us, DC players. One of it is because the industry grows so very significantly for the past 5 years, and we are actually having these difficulties in finding engineers that can manage and operate data centers in a proper manner. And to do that, actually, to try to tackle that issue, one of the key activities that we're doing now as an association is working together with the Kominfo, with the Pengembangan Talenta Kominfo, and also working closely with Nusantara Data Center Academy, making sure that we actually creating a very systematically developed curriculum, making sure that this curriculum is easier to digest with the new engineers that we are going to enter this industry. That's number 1. Challenge number 2 is actually with regards to the green energy, because we can see that from so many requests for proposals coming in, especially from the companies that based out in US or Western European, they already asked us to provide green energy, which currently most of the members of, specifically members of IDPRO, we're still using coal power plant, mostly from PLN, the state utility company. And yeah, we are actually, these two challenges that we're facing is quite cumbersome actually for us to tackle. It's not easy.
Now let's move on to the another issue,
And
which
the
is
cybersecurity,
cybersecurity. Yes. Well, the government has already implemented data protection law,
Yeah.
but it seems that it's not strong enough because the personal data is still often under breach, and cyber attack and intrusions are still happening. What should the government and industry do to improve this situation?
I think we can learn so much from the European Union regulation. They have this very nice regulation framework called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, where they actually punish, like in a very heavy way, to all the industry players that ignorantly selling out the data of their customers. So one of the enforcement is actually up to 4% of the global turnover must be paid as a fine to the government. That big amount of money they have to do the fine in European Union. And it's also already implied also in Vietnam. Vietnam already did that. And in terms of regulation framework, I think we need to have a very technical, specification to make sure that all those companies that providing public services in Indonesia in a form of digital platform, they must be understand that they need to protect their customer data at all costs, because the government also will be fine them or punish them in a very heavy way.
So more strict and punishment from the government side.
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, how should ordinary people like us, actually, in your personal opinion, what is the best way for us to protect our data online?
Okay, that's a very good question. So in terms of security, there are two layers. One is the physical security layers and then logical security layers, yeah. But the point that I would like to make here is actually we must aware, all of us must aware that our data, whether it's government related or private institution related, is already breached. So with that in mind, we'll be more cautious in actually engaging with our digital ecosystem, whether it's opening some suspicious invitation from WhatsApp group, which happening a lot
the
past 6 months, and also making sure that it's actually people, process, and technology, right? The people itself, they have to always think about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And from the technology, they need to always check their application, whether it's already updated. Is there any security patches that they need to install? They need to also do the refresh, passwording every now and then. And they need also to check the process, because most of the big companies, they already implement ISO 27001. That's for information security management system. But for normal people, just be very cautious.
Very cautious, and of course do our due diligence, as you mentioned just now. Do change our password regularly.
Yes.
And be cautious at all times. Okay, Bapak Hendra Suryakusuma, Chairman of Indonesian Data Center Providers Association, thank you so much for joining us on Economic Outlook.
Thank you so much,
and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.